Okay, so here we are. We're outside. I've got the tablet hooked up. I got everything hooked up as we talked about earlier the earlier video. So now we're going to start setting up the ASIair PLUS to the telescope itself. So the first thing you're going to want to do is when you turn it on, you'll listen for a beep. When that beep happens, that tells you that it has turned on its Wi-Fi. So you're going to go to your settings, going to go to your connections, going to go to your Wi-Fi, and you're going to make sure you're set up to ASIair and then whatever syllables are after that. Now the first time you do this, it's going to ask for a password. That password is very common among all the ASIairs. It's just simply 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and you're in. And it's ready to go. You can, like anything else, you can rename it if you want to, so forth and so on. But I typically leave it like it is, not a big deal. And once you've connected to that, of course you have no internet, so you realize that. It'll tell you that. Some tablets will tell you or ask you if you want to continue without internet, some don't. So once you've got that set, now you're going to jump over to your ASIair. So here I have an astronomy tab, and there's my ASIair thing. It's going to come up like this. And it's going to take a couple of minutes, then it's going to come up here. Now it's going to ask you for longitude and latitude. If you have GPS turned on, it'll automatically sync up to it. If not, then you'll have to dial it in manually. Now, in this particular case, because I've already set it up a little bit, you're going to come up with all these fields are going to be actually none, just like that. So what you want to do is you want to tell it what you're working with. So you need to know what your mount is. And in this particular case, it's an iOptron, so I need to find it. It's a SIM25, SIM60. So that's there. My main scope is 420 millimeter focal length. My guide scope's 120. My main camera is the 294 MC Pro, and my guide camera is the 120 mm Mini. I have no electronic focuser and no focusing and no wheel. So those don't pop up because they're just simply not there. So when you've done all this, you hit enter. Then it's going to come up with the main screen. Okay. Now this is because I have it connected to a telescope, to a mount. It's going to see all the mount drives here as well. Now here's the big thing I learned, fooling around, is I could never figure out why I wasn't getting power to my mount off the ASIair Pro, or the Plus. You have to go to this Wi-Fi symbol, pull it up, you have to turn it on. You turn on each individual power point coming out. With the Pro, they are always on, all of them, all four. Here, you can actually control them, and they default to off. So they'll appear to come on, and then they'll turn them off until you turn it on manually. So don't think it's broken, don't think there's something wrong. Go into there, turn on the ones you're using manually. Okay. Now I'm using my phone to video, so this is the new Fold 3, so we'll see how it holds out. Okay, now once you've done that, you go into your camera settings, make sure it turns it on, main scope's right. Here you can control either low, medium, or high, or you can slide your gain controls. I leave it about 250 to see how it does. Turn cooling on if you want to turn cooling on. I don't. EFF if you've got any type of a focus, and then so forth and so on. Then this symbol over here, that is your guide camera. Again, you turn it on here and you give it the focal length, and then you can control your gain settings. Then calibration steps if you want to do any guiding. And then the scope itself, make sure it's turned on and it says it's connected, which it will when it goes green like that. And then down here is sync to mount. So you just sync the mount, and it tells you sync is successful. So once you have all of that, the rest of this down here doesn't really matter. These are just the basic setups. So once you do that, the first thing you want to do is you want to go to focus. You want to, whatever time length you think you need in the skies you have here, I'm just going to use 0.1, and you can see a few stars. Now if I go to bin 4, see a few winking in there. I know this is actually focus and you're seeing a few stars. Now that's 0.1. Let's go to 1 second. Now you see all the stars. And the way you want to treat this is you put this green on one of the stars, you hit this plus sign, and it's going to put into a focus assist. So it's going to focus on the star that you looked at. The lower the top one is, the higher the bottom one is, gives you perfect focus. Now I've already focused this, so ignore these numbers because I have to go to a longer, let's try bin 2, see if it reads. Go to bin 4. Nope. Okay, let's back out of this. Let's pick a different star. Let's go to a little bit brighter one. Let's take that one there. Let's take a look at that. See what that does. There we go. Okay, lower value's better. I'm about 1.18. I could probably get it a little bit lower, but it's off to the side, and I do not have a fill flattener, so the star will be misshapen just a little bit anyway. So, but that's good. Low numbers are good, so I'm satisfied with that. I'll leave it at that. They do look pretty sharp here, even in focus. And if I come out of, I stop this, go from focus to preview, and then take another picture, it'll be a little bit cleaner. Now what you got to do is you got to wait for it to load, which you see down here. There, now you see a larger field, you see all the stars. And as I said, I don't have a field flattener, so my edges are going to be streaked a little bit. That's why I tend to crop my photos. Okay, now once we know we are in focus and we're good to go, we're going to go to PA, which stands for polar alignment. So once you've got it, I'm pointing as close to the North Star as I think I can get with just manually taking a look at it. Then I'm going to let it start doing a polar alignment. So here's going to tell me it's going to plate solve. It's going to go, okay, it's going to solve it. Let's see if it's going to solve it. It's taking longer than normal. Here we go. And it says next, it's going to rotate the mount 60 degrees. It's physically going to rotate the map 60 degrees. So it's rotating now. What you see on the screen is what the mount is actually physically doing right now. It's rotating. Alright. It's going to take another shot. And it's going to tell me how far off I am from polar alignment. Okay, it says it's ready to go. Well, it's not too bad. What I want is a smiley face. I've got to get this blue dot as close to that green dot as possible. Now this takes a lot of finagling, so I'm going to pause the video here until I get it polar aligned, because I'm going to waste a lot of people's time watching me chase that dot around the screen. So I will be back shortly. Okay, so I'm getting a little bit closer. I want to show you what happens when I start getting into the 1 degree ring, which is this inner ring here. Let me adjust it here real quick. I'm going to refresh it. Okay, now I'm getting into the 1 degree ring, but I still have this, not the smiley face. So I've got to move it over and I've got to move it up. So I'm going to pause it till I move it around some more. Okay, after a lot of finagling, I finally got my smiley face, and it's just a matter of messing around with the altitude knobs and the Alt has manual knobs, you know, left, right, up, down, essentially. So it means you're chasing this, you're trying to get this to this. You can keep finagling with it till you get it really, really, really close. But for EAA purposes, it's really not necessary. So as long as I get that smiley face, I'm happy. So let me finish up here. I'm going to pause. I'll be right back. Okay, got our smiley face as close as I need to go tonight. I'm going to hit finish. It's calculating, tells me how awesome I am. Okay, that makes me feel good. And we're done. So we're going to come out of PA and we're going to go to preview. Now what I've got to do is I've got to plate solve. So you see this over here. Once you take a photo, not focus, but an actual preview photo, it'll allow you to plate solve. So we're going to go down here and we're going to plate solve. So I'm going to take one picture. I'm going to go to a couple of seconds here. I'm going to take a photo. You notice it's grayed out now. It's taking a photo. Plate solve now comes up. You hit that, and it's going to take success. You're going to sync your mount, which I did. Look at this, sync out of range. You can't sync the mount within 5 degrees around the NCP, which is the North Pole, the polar alignment. So can't do that. What I got to do now is I got to get out of this, and I've got to push the mount somewhere that's not pointing at the North Pole. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up here now, and I'm going to move the mount to where it's going to be close. I'm going to take this to the fastest speed. I'm going to move the mount to where close to the target I want to go after tonight. Let's see. So I'm actually moving them out now. Okay. We're going to take a picture. Get it loaded. We're going to plate solve. We're going to sync the mount. Sync succeeded. Now you see this? This is star trailing. That's because before you sync the mount's actually not tracking. So it'll plate solve even with those little bit of a star trailing, and then it will sync the mount and it'll stop doing that. So if I take another photo, no more trailing. Nice round stars. Okay, now we want to go find something. So let's go to target. You got best, or you can plug in your own if you know what you're going for. So up here we'll type in M8. So M8. We'll tell it to go find it. Pulls up the Lagoon Nebula. Gives you the times best that it's up. So we're looking at, we're a little after 9, almost 10. So we're up in here. It's coming down, but we got plenty of time to capture this. So we select it, come down to here, and now it's going to drive the scope there. So we got to wait for the scope to move, and it's moving. You can see over here off to the side the cables and shadows are moving. This mount's very, very quiet. It uses stepper motor, so you can hardly hear anything. Almost there. You can watch it. It says target. You see your numbers below matching up to it. So it's getting closer and closer. It's going to take a picture to validate it's in the view, and it's going to validate whether it's centered in your focal length. It's going to shoot it, validate it, centered, finished. It's going to show you what it took a picture of. Look at that. There's the Lagoon Nebula. So we're going to reset this. I'm going to take this exposure. We're going to go up to 5 seconds, a mere 5 seconds. And we're going to take one photo. And this is the magic of cameras. We're going to get this thing loaded in at 5 seconds. This is one single 5-second frame. Now, not a whole lot there to see just yet, but let's go ahead and let's mess with a histogram down here. Let's put it in auto and let it stretch it auto. Let's see what we get. There's the Lagoon Nebula right there. Let me see if I can maybe target it. There we go. So there it is. Now we're going to do what's called live stacking. This is the EAA portion of this. I'm going to go ahead and do another single exposure at 10 seconds. I'm going to put this back to reset. We're going to take a 1 10-second photo here. I'm going to load it up. This is 10 seconds with no stretch. You can still see something coming up. Let's go to auto. Look at that. That is at 1 10-second exposure, and you're seeing this live, near live. All right, so now what we want to do, we got it centered, we got what we want. Let's now take it off of preview. Let's go to live. That's what I love the best, is live. We're going to go to, I'm going to leave it at bin 1, bin forward. There's lots of explanations for what that does out there on the internet. I don't want to go into it just tonight because it's a lot of, I don't want to get too technical tonight, but we're going to take lights. Darks is where you want to take the cap and you put it on the scope and you take a dark, because what the dark does is the dark takes into account any hot pixels that your sensor has, and then what it does is it subtracts those from the lights, so you don't have these odd colors out there that shouldn't be out there. But we're going to stick with lights tonight. We're going to do 10 seconds, so we're going to spin it to 10 seconds. Okay, so lights, 10 seconds, no limit. We're going to go here. Now down here is where you want to pay attention. Down here, whoops, down here it says stacked 0 and ignored 0. Cooler's off, temperature's running at, and my gain setting, and then of course the size. What you want to watch is your stacked and your ignored. If you've got poor focus or poor skies, sometimes you'll start getting ignored. If you see a lot of ignoreds, then you maybe need to refocus or change your gains. So we're going to watch this stacked at 10 seconds. So every 10 seconds, it's going to align and stack photos. So let's go ahead and hit the go. And what's going to happen is it's going to take a photo every 10 seconds, and it's going to stack one on top of the other. Let's put this back in reset. Going to let it get nice and dark. We're going to watch what it does here. So you see here now it says stacked 1 right here, stacked 1. Let's go ahead and put this back on auto. Now you can play with this a little bit. You can take this down, you can manually manipulate this thing, and you can see how beautiful that nebula really starts to get. See a lot there. Let me darken this up a little bit. Oops. Stop doing that, please. So it's coming in, and it's going to continue to do this. It's going to continue to do this for as long as I want it to. Let's see what this does. Nope, don't want to do that. So as you can see, the ASIair Pro and versus the the ASIair Plus does a really wonderful job. Going from the Pro to the Plus to me is, no pun intended, a big plus, especially having that power control. And I can see now that the processing's a little bit better. I think it's a little bit cleaner. I think it's a little bit faster. Now it's still 10 seconds to 10 seconds, but how it actually puts it up there and displays it is actually better. And it's cleaning up that display very, very nicely. Now, because I am doing equatorial, I'm not worrying about rotation. Even if I use Alt As, it'll still work just as fine. But encountering rotation, you'll notice the edges starting to be a little wonky. But the center will be fine. I have used it in Alt As, but this ASIair Plus is really, really nice. Now, the big thing is if I walk away with my tablet, will I drop my signal in an unusual place? I always drop the signal in my Pro. So let's pick everything up and let's walk away and see what happens to my signal. Whoops, I touched the screen, hang on. Let's walk away. There's that street light. Let's walk away and see if I drop my signal. I am inside the garage. You can see the lights just came on. See my reflection. And I have not lost any signal. And before, I could never walk in here with the Pro. With the Plus, I can sit in my nice warm garage when the wintertime comes along and do my thing. So this right here just told me that going to Plus is a good thing. If you're using the ASI Pro now, and you want to get better range and a few more functions and better power control, then you want to go to the ASIair PLUS. Guaranteed, it's not a mistake. It's a good way to go. I am extremely happy with this. This is coming out looking so nice. Really enjoying this. Let's see, let's play with it just a little bit more, see what we can get. Get a lot of more nebulosity out of it that way. Oh, that's too much. Okay. Let's go here. Let's do this. There we go. Now we're bringing out some more nebulosity around the nebula itself. This thing's fantastic. Now what I can do here is I touch the screen, I go full screen, get rid of all my stuff that's around the edges, go to full screen, and then I can do a screen capture. Which works really well too. So you could just do that just to share with people instantly. Or you can just, you can take everything off, and if you're out with a star party or showing other people things, you can just do this, get rid of all the stuff that's annoying, and just show just whatever you're looking at, just like that. So again, this is wonderful. And I'm sitting out here, and let's see, how many stacks do we have? Let's see, we have 27 stacks. So 27 stacks, 0 ignored. It's a perfect night. And it is looking ever so good. So let's just do this real quick. Let's just stop this. So we go over here, we stop this, stop that. And the other thing I want to show you is, even though you're seeing this live and you've got everything right here in front of you, take another screenshot here real quick. Okay. What it's doing in the background is, if I go up here to the EMCC and I go to image management and I go to my live folder, oh, didn't do it. Okay, that's a change in the Plus I'm not aware of. So I got to figure out where it's storing. Interesting. Okay, I'll have to figure that out and get back with you guys, because I don't know what it's doing. I think I need to put an external a micro SD card, which I don't have in it right now, so it may not be able to store anything. Well, that's okay. I can fix that. I'll do that another night, and I'll let you guys know what came out of that. So let's just do this. Let's go back to here. Let's come out of live. Let's go to preview. I'm going to exit this. We're okay with that. Let's go to up here. Let's go to another find. I believe it's M21 I want to find. So let's go M21. Let's go look. Nope, that's not it. Oh, what is it? Well, excuse me for a second. We're going to back out of this. And we're going to go to my astronomy tab. We're going to pull up my Sky Safari Pro. Nope. Let's see. North, southeast. Let's go over here. Just so you guys know. Southeast. There's Antares. There's the nebula that we're actually looking at right now, the Lagoon Nebula. Where I want to go is here. Okay, that is nope, that's not the one I'm looking for either. It's over here. There, Triffid. Okay, object info 20. Okay, I was off by 1. I was close. All right, let's get over here. So we want to go to M20. So we're just going to delete that. Got it. Where'd my 0 go? 20, not 210. Good Lord. All right, 20. There we go. There we go. There it is. You can tell it to go to. It's going to go back. It's going to slew them out for me. I had to do 0 calibrations, not looking at stars, no finder scope, camera. ASIair PLUS does it all. It does everything. I'm just sitting here at a table wirelessly with just a tablet looking everything over. Okay, you see a little bit of something popping up there. Let's go to reset here. We're at 10 seconds. Let's go to, let's go back to 10 seconds. Let's look at it one more time. This one's a little bit fainter, a little bit smaller. Let's see what it does. Download. Okay, we're going to auto stretch it. Yep, there it is right there. Now we can play around with this a little bit. Get it up there a little bit more. We can also go down here. We can go a little bit longer. We can go hit 30 seconds. Let's take that. Let's hit auto here. Or let's come out of auto. I always like to start with auto or out of auto. Going to do a 30-second exposure. See what that does for us. Now, doing videos and you do all these longer exposures, then it gets longer and longer. And a lot of people are just like, oh, I don't want to sit here and watch this. So I just want to show you what a single exposure will do here. And we'll leave it at the 30. Now realize I'm under a street lamp at 94% full moon. I'm in a borderlight sky to begin with before even all that hits me. And I can still see all these amazing things. Okay, there you can see it a little bit. Start seeing it formulate a little bit. Now if I go to auto, let it think it's where it is, boom, there you are. One 30-second shot. I could even see the blue starting to come out on the edge there. Absolutely wonderful. Now what I can do is go to live. I can come back over here. I want to do 30 seconds. I can do 30 seconds. We say okay. We leave it at lights. We hit okay. And then we start. And then what it's going to do, it's going to do the same thing you saw before. It's going to stack, 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 stack. So I'm going to pause this. It's going to bore you to death. We're going to let it stack a few times. Remember what that looked like, and we'll go back and we'll show you what it looks like when it stacks a few. Okay, I just want to point out real quick here, and we're at stack 2, but you see this faint line going up here? That's called a satellite. Thank you, Elon Musk. I really appreciate that. Okay, we got 5 stacks, and as you can see, it's looking really, really nice. You can see the blue coming off on the lower left-hand side a little bit. Again, you know, I'm playing with the slider down here to do different things with it. So it makes a huge difference. And like I said, you can reset it, and then, you know, there's like very little bit there. You can hit auto, let it do what it thinks it needs to do. It tends to overstretch it sometimes. I tend to back it off a little bit, get a little bit darker in there. And you can see as I play around with it, it just gets better and better. So there you have it. That is the ASIair PLUS. And I'm happy, I've got the power control now that I didn't have before. I can turn off all the power except for what I want to use. And the biggest thing is I can walk into my garage and sit in there and not lose my signal. So when the winter comes and it gets cold out here, I can sit in there and stay warm. Scope can sit out here and take pictures. Best deal ever. I encourage everyone, if you've got the ASIair Pro now and you want that extra flexibility, the Plus is worth every penny. Go for it. Now, before I close, sometimes I get comments like, hey, you're just doing Google pictures, you know, whatever. Okay, so here we go. So here's it's still stacking away. And what I want to show you here is this is the telescope. This is the camera, the ZWO camera on the back, the 294 MC Pro. Get light behind me. And then this is the telescope. At the top is the ASIair PLUS. You can see that there. There we go. There's the antenna. There's the guide camera, which I'm not using tonight. And then when we're pointing up into the sky. Now you can't see anything. That's Venus. I'm sorry. That is Jupiter. 94% full moon. Street light. School across the street. Now you look, this is what my yard looks like. It's lit up. So I'm not shooting in the best of conditions, and we're talking Bortle 8 skies to begin with. So this thing does a phenomenal job. I can sit out here and I can go look at galaxies and nebulas and just all kinds of stuff. And there it is, still stacking away. So this is a wonderful thing. I would suggest that all those guys who have pros, if you're thinking about or you're on the fence about going to Plus, go to Plus. Trust me, you're going to want it. And there goes the street light. Oh yeah, now it goes off. Great. Okay guys, that's all there is for tonight. I appreciate you tuning in and watching this. I will be seeing you out there.